Hello and welcome back to another florist vlog. Today I wanted to share my week in flowers. I ordered in from a brand new supplier that I'm so excited about. If you've been following along, you know I'm always looking for new sources for my floral ingredients, but I am always combining them with ingredients I forage and ingredients I grow myself in my tiny little city garden. This time of year, I have so much fun playing with fruits. I've incorporated some tomatoes and grapes into my arrangements this week as I am preparing for our fall flower school that we will be holding at Frolic Flower School. It is online, so you can access it from anywhere in the world. And if you want more information on that, you can go to my website, which is linked in the description box below. But I have been preparing some content for that big event, and also, while I do that, I'm also just enjoying the creativity of working with new ingredients. And I found, in the last couple of years, I was a little bit restricted in terms of ingredients. And I found that I really developed some new techniques and new styles during that time, which of course ended up becoming a book. And now that I have access to a few more farmers, as more and more local flower growers are popping up here in Portugal, that's really fun. But I've also realized that I still love the look of the foraged ingredients and how important it is for me to keep incorporating those into my arrangements. And with my floral business, another thing that has been on my mind probably this whole year actually is how I can make my floral business more circular. So sometimes you'll see I will incorporate dried ingredients that I recycle, and I've told you this before, but I use the vase water to water the plants in my garden. And here you can see my jasmine growing on stalks of dried fennel that I created as trainers for the jasmine and the sweet peas to grow on. And I love that idea of arrangement then going back into the garden, either through compost or homemade trellis or with the water. And I love this idea of really creating a circular floral business where arrangements find their way back into the garden, and then the garden produces more flowers. And of course, I'm doing that on a very small scale. I always just get such a kick out of how I can reuse things. So right now I'm also drying these straw flower and Chinese asters that were sourced locally from a wonderful organic farm. And I'm going to dry the blossoms. And then in terms of my own little floral meditation, because I have to keep that up, aside from my work and my teaching, flowers are part of my personal life. As I've said before, it's part of my wellness practice. So here I am in my garden, which I love to work. And I call it a garden, but it's a very tiny balcony garden. This has been on my mind too, is just this idea of really tuning into what you do have. Of course, I would love a big garden. I don't have that right now. And this little tiny balcony garden has been such a refuge for me during the last couple of years, as it's been such a crazy time. So I call it a garden. It's a tiny balcony garden, but that doesn't matter to me. And I love to go there and I feel so good when I see green, as I'm in quite an urban environment. So just looking out my window and seeing green, and then being able to go into the garden and create just a small arrangement for myself is just such a happy moment in my week. And here you can see I'm using a technique that is a form of the hand-tied bouquet. But the idea is to form the arrangement in your hands, and then you put it in the vase and adjust things from there. Now my vase in this instance is a very tiny recycled Bon Maman jam jar, and it's so cute and tiny, and I was looking for a way to incorporate these very sweet violas that I have been growing ever so slowly by seed. And it turns out that this little vase and this arrangement with these small flowers is a wonderful way to showcase the violas alongside the sweet peas and cornflowers. These little arrangements may seem so simple, but for me, they're honestly my favorite kind of arrangement to make. And sometimes they happen so spontaneously. I just go out to the garden and I start clipping and I start seeing, what's blooming right now. And these tiny cosmos were from my order, but they ended up opening their buds in the vase. And so I'm recycling those into this arrangement. And sometimes it just starts with clipping a little bouquet, and then it slowly but surely turns into a little vase arrangement. And I'm curious if you also have this ritual every week of making a flower arrangement, whether or not you want to work with flowers professionally or you just like to have flowers around. For both of those reasons, I recommend making one flower arrangement per week. Now, if you are interested in working with flowers professionally, you definitely want to be making your one arrangement a week. It gets you into the habit of working with flowers, and it also helps you build your flower portfolio. And in terms of wellness, I just noticed my mood really brighten when I make arrangements for myself and I have them around the house. It's one of my favorite parts of my week. And, I have to remind myself too to do that. The other fun thing is that I have been bringing this concept into workshops for corporate teams. And that's a lot of fun too, to bring the beauty of flowers to people that maybe don't interact with them on a daily basis. And, flowers are not a luxury. They are available to everyone. So just a simple little arrangement like this can really help you appreciate what you have in your life and help you appreciate the beauty of nature that is all around you. So I talk more about that in my book, Field Flower Vase. So if you don't have that yet, you can pick that up. And there's a fun little article actually in this month's Mindful magazine that is a big spread all about my book and how I approach foraging and how I approach flowers as a wellness practice. So I will put a link to the Mindful magazine. There's an article online, but if you do pick up the magazine, it's a really big article, and they had some wonderful thoughts to add to it as well. So that's where I'm at this week. I hope you enjoyed this little florist vlog. I absolutely love having you along. And I do love being back here on YouTube. And so I hope you enjoy this video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. And I hope you have a beautiful week.